Hello, fabulous superstar Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2023. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month. Without a doubt, big moves happening in the sky now. It is going to be on the 3rd of the month that we will have this month's full moon. This full moon takes place in fellow Earth sign Capricorn. This is a worldly part of your sky, having to do with long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, legal matters, along with the philosophical, political, and spiritual beliefs that guide your life. And so you can see here there are very practical implications to this part of the sky, but perhaps personal as well. Overall, this full moon is fortunate. It is speaking in supreme harmony with Jupiter, which brings possibility, expansion, and it is, of course, Jupiter in your sign as well. So, whatever is transpiring now, you are likely feeling that it is very much a blessing. We've got a harmonious connection to Saturn, which brings with it stability and long term gains. And then we've got Mercury standing across the sky from this full moon, which suggests going back and forth, figuring out the best decisions that are right for you. Now, for all this, with energy like this, it could bring with it developments or conclusions because it is full moons that represent things coming full circle, coming to fruition, decisions finally being made, or finally knowing what's going on. And so, yes, if you've been involved in an immigration, citizenship, involved in a legal matter, perhaps considering your role in relation to an institute of higher learning, well, this can be one of those moments where there's still that sense of not necessarily being sure if you're making the right decision, and yet fortunate opportunities should be there, and a sense of closure and conclusion that helps you to feel as if your world is expanding, is opening up in ways that suit you very well, likely feel very much like a blessing to you now. So, if you've been looking on practical levels to get good news on these fronts, well, you've got that here. If you've been looking to just take on an adventure, to get out into the world in some way, that opportunity could show up in a way that feels positively lovely. Now, finding a way to make it work, that is part of that mercurial energy, where certain details you may need to finesse to have them come together. And yet, this can be a time that does expand your horizons, get you out into more of the world than you knew before, help you to cultivate practical adventure as well. And more personally, if it is that you've been looking to understand your relationship to the larger world around you, well, this could be where different ideas are coming in, but ultimately, you understanding what you believe helps you to create a feeling of comfort and stability in your life now. And so, this is considered a fortunate part of the sky. Overall, fortunate energy playing out here. You will find the wisdom, you will find the excitement and optimism of this time. The 17th of the month brings this month's new moon. This new moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. Lots of magical faith energy here. We've also got a harmonious connection to Uranus as well. Beautiful, delightful surprises. But then we've got Pluto opposite this new moon, and that brings with it a lot of intensity and a feeling of a larger fate playing out at this time. For you, this new moon takes place in a part of the sky that has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors, and it has to do with synchronicity. You feeling like you're in the right place at the right time, perhaps connecting with the right person, coming across the right information, and it can make a big difference for you now. This is about learning and understanding communication. And in this case, yes, there can be an almost magical sense to what is transpiring. There can be a sense that the information coming at you feels very healing, feels like a blessing, and takes you by surprise. So I think you'll love that. But it's that, of course, Plutonian energy where it can feel as if at first the information is rather heavy. The synchronistic moments may feel very fated, very consequential. It could be at this time that it is those siblings, cousins, and neighbors that are announcing changes in their lives, new chapters playing out for them. And there could be a part of you that has doubt, that wonders whether or not they're making the right choice or is thinking about what could go wrong. And yet you can see that whatever's happening now, there's something rather wonderful about it at the same time. You're aware of the pitfalls and yet also the opportunities here. If it is that you're looking to undertake a process of learning, well, that can come with that same sense of kind of going back and forth in terms of understanding how this moment might apply to a larger significance for your life, what you're genuinely curious about, what you think would be smart to learn. And yet, things move very quickly. And your place within a process of learning can feel as if it has a will of its own. Getting the right email, the right document, the right letter now could fill you with a sense of hope, but also make you aware again that there are bigger factors there that you may not necessarily have as much control over as you may hope or as you may like. Now, for all that, the energy is overall very promising. Stay aware of your external environment, how it's connecting you to what's taking place within yourself, and you'll be able to navigate this time that much more to your advantage. Now, where it comes to matters of love, well, look, the very big news, of course, is the fact that on the 23rd of this month, well, Venus will officially go retrograde. Your ruling planet going retro is always important. It's always a big deal. But this retrograde is happening at the foundation of your chart, having to do with your past, having to do with where you've been in the past in love and an awakening of the past transpiring for you now. You know, I've been telling you a few things. There will be Venus retrograde special horoscopes. Be on the lookout for those this month. I did do a separate, shorter video that looks at this Venus retrograde season for your sign. I'll link to that below. But the thing I've been trying to tell you week to week, even in the YouTube video, is that this Venus retrograde is going to be a doozy. And that doozy will find us this month right out of the gate with Venus speaking in a conversation of tension with Uranus at the beginning of the month. And then very quickly aligning with Neptune, stationing in alignment with Pluto. All of this magnifies the disillusionment, the intensity, the truth, but also a recognition of where in love we have power and where we don't. At the beginning of the larger transit last month, we had some more supportive energy, and that supportive energy will kick in again once we navigate into next month. But at least for this month, yeah, the doozy arrives. And for you, it's the past arising in ways that may feel decidedly inconvenient, and yet you will navigate this time, of course. It is now, as Venus officially goes retrograde, that Venus will stay retrograde to the 4th of September, and then will stay in shadow until the 7th of October. So you've got a nice long stay here for this larger energy. Use it well. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, well, the energy is a surprise a minute, being shocked by what you learn about people from your past or the past popping up in ways that you didn't expect, and likely leave you with mixed feelings. Where there's been disappointment in the past, all of that may stir at this time as well. Now, ultimately, one of the larger lessons here is you have power to redefine the past in a way that empowers you today. You are not as powerless as you may necessarily feel over what has transpired in your life. By cultivating wisdom, you're able to make gains that move you towards greater love than you've known before. But as part of that, you may need to reconcile with things and people of the past, finding a way to make peace with them. Now, that peace may not necessarily find you right away. It's this month that the need for peace arises, but also points to the way in which you may come to learn, come to grow. Now, I also want to add, very possible, if you're not attracting someone from your past, someone who's just like someone from your past may show up now. And that's ultimately to help you to see patterns that have been there. It's part of understanding what it is perhaps now you see different. You might want to do different navigating forward from here. For those of you just starting to date someone, what a remarkable time this can be. In the context of dating, where you're repeating patterns, they may pop up now. Where there's been discontent with how things have always been, you may identify them and figure out whether or not those same patterns are playing out, or what it is now you want to do different so that you don't play out those patterns again. Still, the past may pop up in some way. Even if you're dating someone, regardless of how you feel about the situation, it could be now that, yeah, someone from your past pops up and it feels a little surprising, if not shocking. And for a small percentage of Taurians out there, you may feel like someone from the past is wreaking havoc. I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. And yet it's part of reconciling what's been so that you can move towards a future more empowering to you, whether it's with this person that you're getting to know or in a different direction. And for those of you in an established bond, what a remarkable time this can be. In the context of established bonds, well, where it is, there's stuff from the past that wasn't fully addressed, fully healed. All of that could stir at this time. Now, it may have to do with the relationship itself. It may not necessarily be about the relationship, maybe before the relationship began. It could be childhood patterns that are popping up in some way now. But you get to look at how the past is speaking to, influencing, saying something about where you are today in the context of the love that you have right now as well. You get to figure out what that's going to mean navigating forward from here, how much of you are going to address and look at and heal the past. Now, this could be your past. It could be your partner's past, but in some way may be awakening the relationship. Now, this may not play out in the context of the relationship itself. If the two of you live together, a lot of this energy might just play out with what's happening with your living situation, the structure you live in, for example. Really important with this Venus retrograde season, regardless of your relationship status, keep very beautifying aesthetic renovations to a minimum at this time. Chances are you'll change your mind once Venus goes direct. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. Well, I'm going to say Venus is your ruling planet. It is your representation in the sky. And as your representative in the sky, when Venus goes retrograde, it is a powerful time of you going within, considering yourself differently, reflecting on who you are differently in some way. You're not necessarily going to find the answers, at least not just yet. A lot of the energy now is a surprise a minute. And yet you are at the beginning of a journey where you are going to learn so much about yourself, helping you to understand the roots on which you stand, from which you can grow that much stronger and further from here. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.